promised that I would bring out this. You may not recognize it's got beer spelled on it, who knows what else, but it's the protest sign that I had back. It's the protest sign that I had back in 1973. Still here. I'll give it to the Smithsonian.
Thank you, Mike. I'm Charlotte Slayman. I'm a furloughed federal worker, a proud union member with NTEU 344, an organizer with the Federal Unionist Network, and an antitrust attorney at the Federal Trade Commission. But I'm speaking in my personal capacity today as a federal worker. I have been a federal worker for 5 years and have served under 3 presidents. Since January, we have been facing an unprecedented crisis here in DC. The federal government is being explicitly attacked by our political leaders, and very quickly, those threats turned into action. While the government shutdown has only been in the news for the last 2 weeks, we have been experiencing what feels a lot like a government shutdown for months now. The Trump administration has been illegally shuttering agencies like USAID and CFPB, pushing people out of the federal service with daily chaos and threats, paying people not to work, and announcing mass firings. All of this has been going on for months. Even when courts have blocked their illegal actions, which happens a lot, it has meant that the critical work of our government is not getting done. Civil servants take an oath to the Constitution, not to any particular political party or political leader. Civil servants must be able to call a spade without fear of retaliation. Our government depends on this institution of the civil service for the legitimacy of our law enforcement, our corporate accountability regulations, our science, and our standing in the world. Our generation has never seen such clear examples of what crony capitalism looks like until this year. Firing inspectors general, firing Democratic commissioners of bipartisan commissions, firing whistleblowers, pushing out career civil servants who have served under every president for the last 20 years. How can a government function if the president can just fire everyone who stands up to him? It can't. This turns government into a tool for corruption, a vehicle for exploitation of the people for the benefit of the president's golfing buddies. We can and must respond with a new revitalization of the civil service protections so that what is happening now to our civil service can never happen again. I believe hard times teach us something important. Trump's efforts to interfere with the independent civil service are making it so clear to everyone how critical those worker protections are. During the pandemic, we realized incontrovertibly how much we rely on each other and how much our fates are intertwined. You can't with a straight face say now that your health doesn't depend on the health of other people in your community. This federal occupation in DC is showing us that more police don't make us more safe. It's obvious to anyone going through this occupation. You see a photo of 10 officers in camo with AR-15s and school children weaving through them on the sidewalk to get to school. And you know in your bones that more police don't make us more safe. I wish that we could learn these lessons the easy way, from books or from teachers, but it seems we must learn them the hard way. But we must learn them. We must protect the Affordable Care Act so that people can have health insurance, not just for those people's safety, but for our own. That's what Congress is fighting for right now in the budget negotiations. We must get ICE and the National Guard out of DC so our communities can be safe and free again. We must restore an independent civil service and give federal workers our jobs back so that we don't have a government filled with the president's corporate cronies. So that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. Here's what I think is most important for you to learn today, if you haven't already. Together, we are strong enough to win. I know it's easy to lose hope, which can stop us from taking action, but I am so full of hope. I have really big hopes, and I have 1,000 little hopes, and all of them are worth the fight. My really big hope is that we save the civil service. I have a smaller hope to save my own job, the jobs of my friends and colleagues. I have hope that Congress will stand firm against any stopgap budget that continues the president's lawless, draconian cuts of vital government programs. I have hope that ICE and the National Guard will leave my hometown of Washington, D.C. I have an even smaller hope that they will stop showing up at elementary schools during drop-off and pickup, or even just stop showing up at my son's elementary school. I am taking action on all of these hopes, small and big, and none of these actions are happening alone. For all of these hopes, I have found other people who have the same hope, and we are working together towards achieving them. I know that you have some hopes too. Think about what they are, and choose 1, choose 10, choose 100, but please reach out to someone else who might have that same hope and get started. We need you. Thank you.
So I can't let another minute go by without speaking about something that really made me angry, and that is, like I said, this is a Hate America rally, and tomorrow would be a Hate America. Nothing makes me more angry than that. Is this a Hate America rally? What is it? Save America. Love America. We are America. The point is, I know when I spent 34 years getting paid by the Marine Corps to serve this nation, I love this country. I didn't do it for the money, I did it for the country. I did it for the Marine Corps. So this will be a little interactive now. All right, so give me a U. Give me an S. Give me an A. What's that spell? Louder! We want to hear about we're at the White House. USA! 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 You can do better than that. USA!
Hello. Hello, Washington, D.C. My name is Lelena Brandt. Some of you know me online as Definish Trans. I am a transgender Army veteran, an artist, an educator, and a loud believer in democracy. I am also a co-founder of Remember Your Oath, some of my comrades here behind me. We have been partaking in a 24/7 vigil over at Union Station since August 25th, and we intend to remain there until this current regime stops misusing our military as political props and wasting over $1 million a day when they could spend a quarter of that and house every single unhoused person in this fucking city. I serve this country because I love it, and I'm standing here today because I refuse to watch it be handed over to people who think that they were born to rule it. When I took my oath, I swore to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I did not swear an oath to a man. I did not swear loyalty to a party. I swore to an idea that every one of us deserves freedom, safety, and dignity. And that oath is being betrayed. This administration treats the Constitution like a prop, waving it in public while shredding it behind closed doors. They muzzle dissent. They defy the courts. They use fear, religion, and the military to consolidate power. But that's not patriotism. That's fascism wrapped in an American flag. They call it strength. They call it order, but it's rot dressed up as righteousness. They build ballrooms and arches for themselves while cutting veterans' care. They use our tax dollars to grow their wealth while the people they swore to serve can't afford rent or insulin. They've confused worship with leadership, and the rest of us are paying the price. And when it comes to trans people, the cruelty is not a side effect, it's the point. Right now, trans service members, my siblings in arms, are being purged from the ranks, their careers destroyed, their benefits revoked, their names erased from the rolls of the country they've served. These are people who have led troops in combat, who have saved lives under fire, and now they're being told that they're unfit to serve. Not because they failed, but because America did. And the truth is, we didn't get here overnight. We got here because for years, so many people looked away. Because when trans kids were banned from sports, people said it's just sports. When their health care was denied, they said it's complicated. And when we were fired, evicted, assaulted, they said it's tragic, but it's not my issue. What can I do? And that silence, that polite distance, has snowballed into a system that now targets everyone. What starts with trans people never ends with us. It didn't in 1933, and it won't now. When they come for our bodies, it's a test. When no one stopped them, they came for women, for immigrants, for teachers, for journalists, for all dissenters. And now they're coming for democracy itself. The cost of indifference is tyranny. We are all bound together in this fight. When they attack trans rights, they attack bodily autonomy. When they attack immigrants, they attack the promise of freedom. When they attack workers, they attack human dignity. When they attack education, they attack truth itself. It's all one fight, one system of control, one sickness that feeds on division. But fascism fears solidarity. It fears the sight of trans people marching beside women, veterans beside students, black and brown organizers besides queer kids with homemade signs. Because they cannot divide what refuses to be divided. We've seen this before. We've fought it before. And we will fight it again together. Our job is not just to rage, though. It is to rebuild. To protect one another when the state won't. To feed and shelter one another when policy fails us. To hold every official, every single one, accountable to the promises they've made to us, the people. And to demand a country that delivers substance, not slogans. Living wages, health care for everyone, homes for the unhoused, safety for the marginalized, dignity for every worker, every parent, every child, every person. This movement is not about left or right. It is about right or wrong. It's about whether power serves the people or consumes them. You don't need permission to defend your neighbor. You don't need approval to demand justice. You don't need a king to remind you that you are sovereign. Because this country does not belong to tyrants. It belongs to us. Standing here at the Lincoln Memorial, looking out over the reflecting pool, I see the ghosts of every movement that came before us. They marched for freedom. They spoke for justice. They believed that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, would not perish from the earth. But only if we fight it. Fight for it, sorry. So I ask you, if you believe in a country where everyone belongs, build it with us. If you believe that freedom isn't a privilege but a birthright, defend it with us. If you believe no one is free until all of us are free, march beside us. Because that's the America I fought for. That's the America we all deserve. I serve this country to protect its people, not its egos. And I will keep showing up until we all get free.
Wave to the helicopter. He's going to come around a few more times. Okay, the next one of our speakers, it's the Trump chain gang. Talking points and blurbs. Introduction. To paraphrase North American philosopher duo Cheech and Chong, if it acts like a mob boss, talks like a Nazi, and smells like a racist, well then it probably has an office at the White House. Okay, and I'm going to turn this over to them. Come up on the stage. In the meantime, I don't think they can hear you in the White House. So we'll try USA again and see if it works loud. Ready? USA! 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 They're coming. This is worth it. While we're standing here, I'll give you an interesting story back from the days of protesting up there on the Washington Monument steps. And in those days, this was after Kent State. And so there was a huge bunch of us around the Washington Monument. And of course, it was locked. There was a chain around it. Banging on the chains. Everybody was laughing. They'll never break point is, we want to make these rallies nonviolent. There was no point to that. It didn't help us. It brought the police in, and tear gas a bunch of people, most of which had never done anything. What do you mean? So, point taken, peaceful, empathy. And some other interesting things. Those basically have answers to keep protesting and keep doing all the things that you do. You've got to keep it up, and so we did too. And so there was a protest on July 4th, 1973 by the Yippies. Anybody know who the Yippies were? Yeah, okay, there's two of us. The Yippies were, that's right, they're the hardcore protesters. So of course, Mike had to go down there and join in. And it was a march around the mall, and we went to the Capitol. And me and a buddy were riding on a motorcycle, and we proceeded to ride up to the Park Police motorcycles, and luckily we didn't get arrested there. They sent us back. Then we stopped in front of the Capitol. So July 4th is a hot day in Washington. So we got out and we started diving into the pool right there in front of the Capitol. And they let us do it. You know, they had empathy for us of what they could have tear gassed us, they could have done a lot of things, but they didn't. They let us cool off and get out. So this works both ways, with the authorities and with the protesters. So just remember that. Are puppets here yet? They promise to be coming. Any sightings? Ah, there they come. Here they come. Hey, there he goes. Look. White top.
Greetings, friends and heroes and sheroes. At Backbone Campaign, we take undermining and dismantling of the Constitution, the very essence of what it means to be an American, extremely seriously. these tyrannical buffoons here deserve to be ridiculed. That's right. Their falsity, puny, petty, poisonous petulance, love alliteration, would be laughable if it were not so toxic to decency, empathy, and the pursuit of equal justice. The stuff that actually makes this country great. So we are not laughing. Our hearts ache, but we're not broken. The grief we feel is proof that their war on empathy has not and will not extinguish our capacity for compassion, love for our country, and commitment to justice. Though the grief a lot of us feel is real, we're not resigned or defeated. We are outraged and united in purpose and mobilized to remove these thugs from this administration and our government and rebuild our country. Backbone Campaign joined the Removal Coalition to help make sure that these corrupt and hateful bullies and their sycophant goons be held to account for the violence and destruction they have perpetrated on our country, the rule of law, and the very institutions that were established to provide for the security, safety, and general welfare of our people. Their betrayal to their oath to support and defend the Constitution are a betrayal of the foundational principles that bind us together as we the people. When Miller and company spew hate and threaten violence, criminalize protest, we're not quivering in fear or a fear of reprisal. Fuck that shit. From LA to Portland to Chicago to DC, we the people are countering their fear-mongering with moral courage and resolve. And yes, some humor too. Let's hear it for the frogs and the inflatables in Portland, huh? Yeah, the 5,000 people in the naked bike ride last weekend? Hell yeah. Yeah, those are really scary people. Oh, the place is burning. I just came from Portland. It's not burning. Their divide and conquer strategy to separate working people from each other, rural and urban, is not going to work. It will not mask their corruption and their disdain for democracy. And it will not protect them from accountability. The Removal Coalition is bringing diverse forces together. Backbone Campaign is proud to lend our artful activism, our experience, to amplify the call to remove these thugs, these liars, these kleptocrats from public office, and hold them accountable for their high crimes and misdemeanors, for declaring war on American cities, American values, and working people, and for their corrupt use of power to further enrich themselves and their billionaire sponsors. We will not be distracted. Today, you are witnessing the debut of the impeachment chain gang. We are marshaling art, humor, and creativity to show them their future. We are locking arms with our partners at Free Speech for People who are harnessing the constitutional power of impeachment to hasten their removal. That's why I hope you check out impeachtrumpagain.org. That's their website and the petition. It provides a legal roadmap and articles of impeachment to call out these buffoons for their high crimes and misdemeanors. Here are just a few of their 25 articles of impeachment. Donald Trump has committed treason by levying war against the United States, by mobilizing U.S. troops against civilians in an effort to instill fear in the civilian population, quell lawful political dissent, politicize our military, and usurp local and state authority. Boo! That's right. Through his orders to ICE, Trump has kidnapped, detained, and removed, without any due process, thousands of people who peacefully live in our country. With papers or not with papers, they are not criminals. These people have been stolen from the streets of their communities, moved from state to evade court oversight. That is some bullshit. Held without access to attorneys and family, and in some cases removed from the country and imprisoned in dangerous conditions in foreign countries in defiance of court orders. That is some more bullshit. Let's say boo. Trump has undermined the First Amendment, and he is now threatening to expand this scheme of kidnapping disavowed people and sending them to foreign prisons to include U.S. citizens. What do you think? Some more bullshit, right? Yeah, we are not cowed. That is bullshit. We have to defend the territory of free speech. We have to stand up. These people deserve to be ridiculed, and it is our job as citizens to ridicule tyrants. Lastly, Trump has abused the pardon power, undermining due process of law, and cost the American people more than $100 million in restitution that his pardoned allies will no longer have to pay back to victims and U.S. taxpayers.
Just a quick picture.
He pardoned more than 1,500 January 6th co-insurrectionists, commuted the sentences of 14 additional co-insurrectionists, and ordered the Department of Justice to drop cases against all remaining January 6th defendants. That is not accountability. These are just a few of the 25 grounds for impeachment outlined by the constitutional lawyers at Free Speech for People. You can read all of these grounds at impeachtrumpagain.org. Can you say that for me? impeachtrumpagain.org. Let's do that one more time. Hell yeah! This includes the grounds for impeaching HHS Secretary Kennedy, Attorney General Bondi, Secretary Noem, Secretary Rubio, and Secretary Hegseth. We urge you to join us in calling out these buffoons, calling for their high crimes and misdemeanors, and demanding their impeachment and removal. Join me in welcoming, that's me, never mind. Join me in going to impeachtrumpagain.org to learn about the articles, 25 articles of impeachment, and sign the petition and share it with your friends. Thank you all. God bless America. Impeach Trump again! 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 Now these folks, they've got some duties to do. They've got to do some beautification. We've got some pickup sticks and some trash bags, so we're going to go and do our duty to the country. Okay, put up to work, right? Thank you very much, Removal Coalition, and all the organizers here. We really appreciate being part of this. I'm Bill Moyer, Backbone Campaign. Check us out at backbonecampaign.org. Thank you all. Together.
thing, administrative announcement. Last name Hubbard, a check Visa card. You just come on up and we'll get that to you over there at the side. Now our next speaker, you're going to really enjoy this. Needs no introduction.
Beloved, I am Reverend Dr. Stephanie Rose Spalding, and I am here on behalf of Politivist Action and the Movement for Freedom. And we are gathered here today on the eve of one of the largest single protests ever to happen in the United States. People from every hue, walk of life, and community are preparing to gather with friends, neighbors, and strangers in every state and even around the world to demonstrate with a unified message that the United States of America has no king. Contrary to the beliefs, behaviors, and policies of Donald J. Trump, we are still, in fact, a democratic republic. Governed by the people and for the people. And the power lies with the people. It is true, our democracy may not be perfect, but it still exists. And we will fight for the life of it. As my sister in solidarity, the Honorable Cori Bush, will say, democracy is not just one, but it is maintained by those who resist and refuse to give up on freedom. And we are here doing just that, refusing to acquiesce to a president and his cronies who are beyond derelict in duty and need to be impeached and tried for treason. If you have been paying attention, then I don't have to reiterate the myriad of ways this administration has our democracy on life support by attempting to obliterate all forms of checks and balances, weaponizing the Department of Justice, alienating our allies, and turning neighbors against neighbors. National Guardsmen, whom we employ and train to be mitigators of crises, now incite consternation and fear in fellow citizens and have become the pseudo-private army of a wannabe dictator. Hey. Immigration and border agents who we have hired with our tax dollars to ensure safe and welcoming immigration processes are swiftly becoming the most organized perpetrators of human trafficking on American soil. Hey. No, I don't have to reiterate these things because each of us in different acute ways are feeling the impacts of this administration's draconian policies in our everyday lives. It is why we have come. Some of us out of the shadows, never having participated in a protest, march, or rally before, but who know that history will record and remember where each of us stood when all hell was breaking loose upon the planet. Others, whose every moment of being is an act of resistance just because we are alive in a society that dares us to breathe. Yes, we are too aware of the trumpery we are being peddled to undermine freedom, peace, justice, and safety. Yet I still ask, why are we here today? Why, in this exact moment in time, are we gathered on the planet doing these things? If our response to this question is that we have come together only to articulate a resounding no to the direction in the course of human events that we find ourselves in, then we have come in vain. Emerging in this moment merely to say we do not like what is being done to us is an exercise in futility, because fruitfulness does not emerge merely from negation. Purpose-filled living is generated from affirmation, intentionality, and envisioning. So even as we stand here resisting and saying that we must reject regression, authoritarianism, and hate, we must ask ourselves, what are we affirming? Who are we becoming? What are we living into? And in order to get there, we must wrestle with how we have allowed ourselves to be in this dangerous position in the first place. The truth of the matter, Trump is a monster of our own making. Beloved, if you are like me and my brothers and sisters in the movement for freedom, then we are not just resisting so that we can hold on to the status quo at our own demise. We are organizing and taking to the streets because we refuse to stay stuck in a past that is no longer conducive to humanity. Quite honestly, it never has been, and people are crying out. People are finally waking up, and I am just going to proclaim this right now. I am fucking woke. What is the alternative? Walking dead? Sleepwalking? Wake the fuck up! While there are elements of ideals to which this great experiment aims to manifest, we are reckoning at this moment with the truth of our existence, that this nation was founded on poisoned principles of exploitation, extraction, colonialism, and racism, and now we are eating the bitterness of rotten fruit. America's demonic covenant with dehumanization and an exploitative economy rooted in practices of genocide and slavery for some and meritocracy and exceptionalism for others is, as our departed brother Malcolm has shared, the chickens coming home to roost. But I don't stand here just offering nihilism and condemnation. No, the movement for freedom in this moment suggests that we may need to learn more and lean more into the fall of empire. We are asking, what does our evolution of being look like once the revolution actually happens? America must establish a new covenant with its members, a conciliatory practice built upon reconciliation in the spirit. We must redress the brokenness in our relationships with nature, our environment, and our spiritual selves. The spirit of imperialism, dominance, and manifest destiny doesn't have to shape us moving forward. For now is the time to renew a right spirit within us. Brothers and sisters, change is happening. It is painful, it is scary, and sadly, all who invest in it will not be here to reap the reward of the seeds we plant and nurture for future generations, but we must plant the seeds. Nonetheless, we must decide at this moment how we lean into it and what we commit ourselves to being on the other side of it. For like every caterpillar that lays down its life to become a butterfly, so too must we. So I invite you, join us at the Movement for Freedom in institutionalizing humanity, life, and love. If we can institutionalize racism, sexism, capitalism, imperialism, we can institutionalize human dignity. We are ushering in a new way of being with each other in society and building a future where no one's humanity is exalted above another's, where no one lives in fear and under threat of who they were divinely created to be, and where access to resources necessary to survive is not denied due to corrupt hearts and corporate profits. We do and will continue to resist fascism, and we will win this war. But I urge you that we must begin now in building what comes next, as it is evident that our hope cannot rest upon the mere back and forth of a two-party political system and a society that is morally bankrupt in its form of leadership. We must radically transform our way of being if we are going to build a future where we are not always resisting. Join us at movement4freedom.com. Thank you.
Okay, we're here with a famous, infamous person on the internet. How many people follow him wherever he goes? Give him a yell, man. Appreciate that. I do. And behind you. So we turn it over to you for the remarks now.
What's up, DC? First of all, we can't fucking fight this guy if we're dead. And you sound dead. What's up, DC? Since we're standing in front of the Lincoln Memorial, let's talk history. The framers of this Constitution, the framers of this country, they came from a monarchy. They bared witness firsthand to what a tyrant looks like, and they were adamant. If you go read the debates between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, if you go study how the Articles of Confederation came to be, if you read Madison, you're going to find out one of their key concerns, one of the things that worried them the most was using the army against the people. That was what they believed was how a tyrant became a tyrant and a king became a king, was to turn the army against the people. For example, the Second Amendment was not about personally owning firearms, despite the NRA convincing politicians of that so we can ignore dead children in schools, but I digress. The Second Amendment was always about this fight between Federalists and Anti-Federalists to ensure that a standing army could not overturn a state's sovereignty. That's what it meant. It was always about preventing a king from happening. So, let's fast forward to where we are. What's happening right now? The National Guard was sent to LA first, and then the active duty Marine Corps was sent to LA. And then the National Guard was sent here to D.C. And now they're trying to send the Texas Guard to Illinois. This is not a fucking accident. It is on purpose. This is the blueprint. They're doing it for a reason. It's the agenda of how a king becomes a king and a tyrant becomes a tyrant. And I need everybody to recognize that. I hear these arguments online. They're trying to do this. They're trying to make a fucking king. They're trying to overturn a democracy. And you better be a lot more pissed off about it than you currently are. It's so much the blueprint that Trump has created ICE. Now, you're going to say ICE has been around since 2001, which, by the way, is when ICE was formed, 2001. But what Trump has done is made ICE his own private army. Trump has made ICE the third highest funded military in the world. They wear military uniforms and police patches, but they're not military trained and they're not police trained. They're a private army. They're snatching mothers out of school pickup lines. They're snatching people out of courthouses. They're snatching people out of workplaces. They're shooting peaceful protesters with bullets. They're ramming cars. They're throwing people to the ground. And nobody is stopping them. They have the free reign to do whatever the hell they want. They are Trump's private army. And why? What has history taught us? What have we learned here today? It's so that he can become a king. He plans to use the military as part of his overall plot to make the 2026 elections not free and not fair. So make no mistake, he's using our army and his private army to make this possible. So that brings me to why we're here right now. We ain't gonna let it fucking happen. When we say no king, we mean no fucking kings. You're not going to be a king. You're not going to be a tyrant. Not on our watch. Now listen. We say that. Do you mean it? We say that. Are you going to do anything about it? Tomorrow is going to be an incredible moment. The No Kings protests across the country. I remember the first one that happened a few months back. It's going to be a great moment that's going to remind us that people are standing up against this wannabe king, this wannabe tyrant. It's going to be a beautiful moment that is going to give people some motivation. It's going to be a great moment that's going to give people hope. But my fellow Americans, a moment won't fucking save us from a tyrant. Only a movement can do that. And if we don't start stringing these moments together into a movement, pretty soon we lose. And I refuse to lose. You need to be organizing in your communities. You need to be fired up. You need to be pissed off. Jolly, why do you use profane language? Because we live in fucking profane times. Jolly, why are you always angry? Because I got reasons to be pissed, and you should be too. You should go home, you should organize. I don't care what it takes. Get off your couch. The time for comfortability has passed. They don't follow the rules. Trump doesn't follow the rules. The Republican Party, MAGA, doesn't follow the rules. The rules are out the window. They believe it's a dictator for thee and not for me. They're okay with fascism. They're okay with a tyrant. They're okay with a dictator. They don't follow the fucking rules. Guess what? Neither does revolutions. My bad, y'all didn't hear me. Mic's off. Neither does fucking revolutions. If we don't get pissed off and mean it, guys, we lose. You can be here all day. You can come to these rallies. You can do whatever you want. These moments won't save us. We need a movement. We need a revolution. You got to get up, get out, and drag your neighbor with you. Fuck Trump. No king. Thank you.
Thank you. Fuck Trump.
another speaker is going to address a subject that we really need to hear about. There's so many things coming at us from the Trump administration that it's hard to keep track, but don't lose sight of the picture. We turn it over to our guest speaker.
Can you hear me? Good afternoon. My name is Jermaine Collins. I'm a U.S. Army veteran and the national team lead organizer for Common Defense, a member-led organization of progressive veterans who span every state and beyond. When I used to wear the uniform, I did so with pride. I serve this country because I believe in the promise of freedom, equality, and democracy. These aren't just words to me. These are values I believe. These are values I believe in, and they're values I think are worth defending. But what I've seen happening here in D.C. and in other cities around the country is not in the defense of freedom. It's the slow, deliberate dismantling of it. Let's be real for a second. The occupation of Washington, D.C. by the National Guard, our siblings in uniform, is not about security, it's about intimidation. It's about silencing the voices of the people who are dismantling justice, dignity, and change. When the military is deployed against its own citizens, we don't call that freedom. We call that authoritarianism. I didn't risk my life overseas to come home and see armed troops walking around the streets of my city, my home. We don't deserve federal agents coming around here, snatching up our neighbors off the street without a word, without a cause, without accountability. ICE, Border Patrol, and other federal agencies have been operating like secret police, targeting immigrants, activists, and everyday people, tearing families apart, tearing communities apart. This is not about national security. This is state-sanctioned fear. We didn't put on the uniform so our government could turn its back on us, on veterans, on working families, on those who need the help the most. The very agencies we built, the very agencies that were built to serve the people, like the VA, VA healthcare, are being gutted, privatized, and hollowed out. And this started long before the government shut down. So let me tell you something. You can't say you support the troops and then dismantle the one place where veterans go to heal. It's not justice. It's not justice. And if you want to talk about justice, just to talk about something else for a second, let's talk about D.C. Let's talk about the fact that over 700,000 people live in the District of Columbia. More than some states here in the U.S. We pay taxes, we serve in the military, we work every day to build this nation. But we have no voting representation in Congress. Yeah. You guys know the motto, taxation without representation. You know, the very thing we fought a revolution against. That was the very thing we fought a revolution against. D.C. deserves statehood. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. D.C. statehood now. Because democracy doesn't mean anything unless we all belong to it. As veterans, we know what service means. We know what sacrifice means. And we know what betrayal looks like. This country has turned federal agencies against its people. Not this country, but this administration. That guy right there, those guys over there. It's not just a failure in policy. It's a moral failure. It's a failure of character, and it's a failure of humanity. We didn't sign up to be used as pawns in some political game. We didn't We signed up because we believe in something bigger than ourselves. Now we're standing up, not as soldiers, but as civilians, as citizens, to say the mission has changed. The fight is right here at home. The fight for justice, the fight for dignity, the fight for democracy, and the fight for each other, for our communities. We demand the end of the military occupation of our cities. We demand the end of the secret police and ICE terrorizing our neighborhoods. We demand the full funding, not dismantling, of the services that we earn and the services that we need. We demand statehood for DC. We demand statehood because our democracy is incomplete without one. So, I'll say this in closing. Ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else on that technicolor spectrum of what we call humanity, this is our country. This is our home. These are our rights, and we will not stand idly by while this regime tears everything apart that we hold dear. It's time now. It's time to stand up. It's time to fight back. Join us in this fight, and fuck Trump.
Okay, folks, get ready for this. Here's Randy. He's going to come up and wow you.
Hey everyone, how's everyone? Good. Thanks for being brave with us here today. So, got my speech. Don't know who I am without this. My name's Randy, and I'm one of the founding members of FLAIR. FLAIR is for Liberation and Resistance Everywhere. We take that E really seriously. So I want to take a second to thank the amazing team for putting on this weekend, especially Indivisible, 5051, and 5051 DC, Common Defense. So the folks at FLAIR, we've occupied that space since May 1st, maintaining a 24/7 presence. And we're made up of people from all around the country, some of whom had quit their jobs and left their lives just to come here. So they've given up holidays and birthdays and first days of school to help fight for our country. And we haven't been able to do this without some really great partners. With the Removal Coalition, Harriet's Wildest Dreams, Sons of Liberty, Citizens Impeachment, our friend Cliff Cash, who we wouldn't be here without, and 5051. And right now I want to let everyone know that we do need to keep up the momentum. So, FLAIR, the Removal Coalition, Remember Your Oath, and a number of other partners are going to be having an event 11/22, September 22nd, that's going to be capped off and headlined by Dropkick Murphys. Woo! Right? I know. We're also joined at FLAIR by a group of veterans at Remember Your Oath, so I want to thank Lainey, Matt, Rig, and Jolly for bringing everyone here with them, and for hitting the streets with us. And as many of you know, the FLAIR encampment was raided on October 3rd by National Park Police. Illegally took $20,000 worth of our stuff, put it in a warehouse, and hid it from us for a few days, and then let us come get it. So, no, and they, so we were met, so we want to thank DC for their kindness and their openness, and for the past 160 days in supporting us down there. So, FLAIR was founded on the principles of nonviolent direct action. What that means is we're not going to sit idly by and watch fascists destroy everything that we've worked for. We go where the fascists are. We go to the Heritage Foundation, to Buttersworth's, APAC, to their white nationalist church down at 229.5 Street, Pennsylvania Avenue, southeast, is their white nationalist church just above the old Heritage Foundation office. We're pacifists, but not passive. Flair doesn't hide anything that we do, how we feel, or who we are. When we protest, we advertise it. We want them to know that we're coming. We want them to know that we're watching. And we want them to know that they will be held accountable for their actions. And that's the thing that they fear the most, is accountability. And we need to be very clear on what accountability means, so they don't misunderstand it. They will be held accountable in every sense of the word, and we will do it constitutionally, we will do it legally, and we will do it openly. Because we don't hide. No matter how much they preach law and order, they practice the opposite. They sow division and chaos in the people as a distraction to their own criminality. It's right out of the fascist playbook. Create a false narrative of crime and corruption, blame marginalized group of people, and send the Gestapo in to terrify the citizens in the name of law and order. Yet, they're the ones that created these structures and laws of oppression and violence and call it freedom, like the liars they are. And they're the ones that make the racist, anti-trans, anti-women policies and then hide behind cops like the fucking cowards they are. Another thing out of the playbook is to overwhelm us with all of their hate and vitriol so that we only worry about ourselves and we only fight for ourselves. Flair doesn't do that, and we won't do that. We will not forget about our disabled communities. We will not forget about our black and brown communities. We will not forget about our queer communities. We won't forget about Ukraine. We won't forget about the Uyghur in China, and we will never forget about the people in Palestine. So, I have a friend, Danny, who, one of the strongest people I know. And I wish she could be here today, but she's been sick recently for a while. But when she's not getting treatment or having brain surgery, she's right here with us. In fact, I talked to her the other day, and she had just finished up. After spending 6 days in the hospital for brain surgery, when she got home, the first thing she did was some mutual aid. She contacted people and saw where she could help, and she did it. So, she's been out here with us since we started in February. A handful of us started in February out in front of the Heritage Foundation. And seeing this fight through is what keeps her going. Seeing all of you out here building community and taking care of each other keeps her going. So my friend Danny is also a musician. She was explaining to me that, I'd like to tell this story. She was explaining to me that in the choir, when a choir member needs to breathe, everyone else will sing a little bit louder. And there's lots of people here that need to breathe right now. And it's up to us to sing a little bit louder for them. We have our immigrant communities too afraid to go outside and send their children to school or to advocate for themselves. We need to sing a little bit louder for them. Not only do they need to hear us, but they need to see us. White people, we have to use our privilege the right way. We're the ones that can get away with going out and filming ICE and interrupting their activities. We're the ones that can walk into the halls of Congress without fear of our safety or lives. And I think the other side proved that, didn't they? We need to use this privilege, especially if you're a white male veteran like me. We have our trans communities being denied healthcare and basic human rights and are being blamed for everything from helicopter crashes to school shootings. We need to sing a little louder for them. We need to show our LGBTQ community and neighbors that they are accepted and loved as they are, and because of who they are. So if you're a fellow queer and you're hetero-coded, you need to step up and protect your misters, sisters, and other resistors. We have our veteran communities getting their benefits cut and denied. We need you to sing a little bit louder for us. We swore our lives to protect and defend the Constitution of America and the American people. As a thank you, this administration has cut over 60,000 jobs from the Veterans Administration, including the suicide hotline. And they've started the propaganda that VA employees are committing benefit fraud so they can go after and slash the VA even more. The veterans, we don't need your thank yous for our service. We need you to be the kind of person worth serving. We need you to stand with us. We have our Native communities whose land we stole being denied equal rights and equal protection. We have to sing a little bit louder for them because there's 6,000 Native American women that are currently missing. If these were white women, there would be government task force dedicated to finding them. And we continue to steal their land and destroy sacred sites in the name of profit. We even built our monument to their genocide on a sacred site on Mount Rushmore. And now, we have our Palestinian communities that have been crying out for over 75 years about Zionism and fascism. We need to sing a little louder for them. And on the day that Flair was raided on the 3rd, I not only had to deal with that, but I was also with some of the families of our Samud flotilla American contingent that were over there. And I was helping them get in and talk to their representatives and to get in front of people to tell their story about these Americans that were being held hostage by a foreign government and being tortured. And not one of them missed the opportunity to advocate for Gaza and the Palestinian people. It was, yes, I want my loved one home, but we need to solve the problem over there so no one else has to deal with that again. So our Congress has enabled Israel to murder 68,000 Palestinians, most of them women and children, since 2023. There's an American teenager from Florida named Mohammed Ibrahim, currently in an Israeli prison. He's 16 years old, being charged for whatever they want to charge him with. He's from Florida, and he's currently in an Israeli torture prison. And we haven't heard one word from his senators, from his representatives, or from the State Department. They don't care about Palestinians, and they don't care about their constituents. They only care about AIPAC money. And this is not about Israeli security. This is a Palestinian genocide. When we formed FLAIR, we all put an emphasis on that E. So we're not free until we're all free. So right now, I need to sing a little bit louder. I need to sing a little bit louder for my friend Danny, who can't be here today. I need to sing a little bit louder for our immigrant communities. I need to sing a little bit louder for our trans and queer communities. I need to sing a bit louder for our veterans. Sing a bit louder for our Native communities. And I want you to sing really loudly for our Palestinian communities. So, thank you all so much. Free DC, free Palestine. Our day will come. Thank you.
Okay, our next person to speak has also got a very important message for you. And I look around and I see it's getting darker or the twilight, but think about where you are just for a second. You know, what would Lincoln say about all this? Or Washington? You know, let it sink in. It's just, and I'll kick you off to.
All right, welcome everyone. I'm Paul Asadebe. I'm a federal worker. I'm a steward with AFGE 476 at the Department of Housing. And I'm also a furloughed federal worker right now. And I'm also a whistleblower. So, as we've seen over the last couple weeks, the government is shut down. But I'm here to tell you, as someone with personal experience of it, that the government has been shut down for over 9 months now. From the beginning of this administration, any part of the government that actually helps working people, like my part of the government, that works on civil rights and housing, making sure that everyone has equal access to the housing that they need to get good jobs, good education, good health care, to be safe, and just fundamentally to have a roof over your head. That part of the government has been shut down for a long, long time. Way before spooky season started, we were already shut down. And I'm here to tell you, as someone who has been in this government for years and who is now dealing with the atmosphere of fear and control and uncertainty that this government is creating right now, as someone who's had coworkers fired, who's had coworkers forced to resign, who's had coworkers feel that they can't take it anymore and need to leave, and who himself, who is a whistleblower and who has been fired for speaking out, who's had coworkers also fired for speaking out publicly and telling Congress and you, the American people, the truth about what is happening with their civil rights. I see that in this moment of a shutdown, it's not just a shutdown, it's a time to fight back. Because we're seeing that it's impossible to treat this as business as usual. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't be up here. Before February of this year, I had never spoken out publicly about anything. I just tried to do my job. I just tried to make sure that you had equal access to housing. But it became very clear very early on that we were not going to be allowed to do that for the next 4 years, and for as long as they want to make it. We saw from almost day one that we were having people block our attempt to protect your civil rights. I'm a civil rights attorney. What I do day to day, and what I swore an oath to do, is to make sure that when your landlord or your bank or your developer who builds your house or your state itself tries to discriminate against you, I'm the one who comes in and makes them stop. And we do it for free. We are legally required to investigate every case that we get. We're legally required, when our investigators see that someone probably discriminated against you, we are required to charge that case. We're required to come in and stop them. But they've harmed our ability to do those investigations. They've come in, and political appointees, 20-year-olds who are not lawyers, will come in and say, I don't like that case. We're just going to squash that. You're not allowed to work on that anymore. We're seeing them come in with settlements. So imagine you have come to an agreement with your landlord or whoever that they're going to stop doing whatever made you file a complaint in the first place. And then the federal government is going to monitor them. They're going to make them get training so that they know how they're supposed to actually run their business. They're going to make sure that we are making sure that we are monitoring what they're doing so that they don't discriminate against you in the future. Imagine some 20-year-old saying that we're just not going to do that anymore. That doesn't align with administration priorities. So we're just going to stop that. And then you're just left on your own with no one to help. Every step of the process, everything that we would normally do to help you as the American public, we are being stopped from doing that. And since I took an oath, since my coworkers took an oath to defend and serve you no matter who is the one attacking you, even if it's the president, even if it's Elon Musk, if it's Peter Thiel, if it's some governor in Texas or Mississippi or New York. It doesn't matter who it is. We are the ones who defend you. We took an oath to do that. And in this moment of these endless attacks, these attempts to get rid of any capacity for the government to do anything that actually helps you, for them to have the ability to just weaponize the government, to turn it into nothing but a weapon. In that moment, we knew that we had to stand up and tell you what is happening to your rights on a daily basis. And that's what we did. We went to the public, we went to the media, we went to Congress, we put our names on it. We're not going to let them say that we're leaking anything, that we're hiding anything. They're the ones who hide stuff. They don't want to tell you what they're doing. If you ask them, they'll say, oh, we're fully enforcing all your rights. That is not true. And we had to tell you exactly how that's not true. And we saw from their response what their priorities actually are as an administration. So when there's hundreds of kids in Texas who are facing a natural disaster and who died and they need urgent help, it takes 72 hours for them to respond to that. It takes Congress and the media to figure out where Kristi Noem even is during that situation. When it comes to...
She's shooting fucking puppies.
She is. When we see people coming for urgent help, people who are suffering from domestic violence, they have a stalker at their door. They need urgent help to get out of that unit and get somewhere that's safe for them and their kids. It'll take a long time for them to help you with that, if they're going to help you at all right now. But when whistleblowers use their rights to tell the truth in a week, oh, we got a packet ready and we're going to walk you out of the building. That's their priority right now. But the American people's priority, my priority, is actually making sure that everyone has access to what they need in this country. Whether that's housing, whether that's education, healthcare, and that's the big fight right now with Congress. The government shut down right now because people don't want you to have healthcare that you can afford, that you can actually rely on. And so some people in Congress have decided to hold the line on that. And that's important because if the premium increases that are happening, people are already getting in the mail, if those go through, it's anticipated that 50,000 Americans a year will die who didn't have to die because of that. And that's disgusting, and that can't be allowed to continue. But it's not just about healthcare. We can't fund a government that's dismantling itself day by day, that's being weaponized, that has no accountability, that's attempting to traumatize its own workers. They've openly admitted that that's what they're trying to do. So in that moment, it's not business as usual, and Congress can't continue as if it is. So it's really important that they hold the line, but it's also important that federal workers in the buildings who are in there to actually see the lawlessness that's happening, the lack of accountability, the dismantling of the services that you rely on, we're the only ones who can tell the public what's happening. Because if we don't stand up, if we don't honor our oath by organizing to actually protect our agencies and the American public, it's going to be too late by the time actually people recognize the effects. So that's what I'm here to advocate for. As a federal worker, like I said, I'm a union member, I'm a steward, and I'm an organizer with the Federal Unionist Network, which is a collection, a network of federal workers all across the country who are organizing across agencies, across unions, to actually meet this moment where normally, as I said, we would just keep our heads down, do our jobs, but when they don't let you do that, you have to respond. Because what we're dealing with right now are bullies. They're people who weaponize fear, who weaponize silence, and try to enforce that. And when you encounter that, you only have two responses. You can lay down and let them continue to take your lunch money day after day, because when they recognize someone who lays down, they don't back off. They say, that's someone I can take advantage of. That's someone who I'll ask him for double the lunch money the next day. And that's what we're all facing as a country. So that's one response, and unfortunately a lot of people are trying to do that, keep their heads down. But as I've seen, as someone who works in a federal civil rights agency, I know that I cannot afford to keep my head down and think that that is going to save me, or that's going to save the people that I serve. That's not how this is going to turn out. So the other response is to organize. It's to build the power among all the people who think that this is wrong, who are looking for someone to come and save them. There's no one coming to save you, it's you. And you do have the power to do it, but not alone. Only when you organize through a union, through your church group, through your community groups. Just get out there, find the thing that you care about, that you cannot see yourself letting go. Organize with the other people who care about that to defend it. And there's many different ways you can do that, but if you're a federal worker or someone who supports federal work, who relies on federal work, which I think is all of us, then you should join the Federal Unionist Network, you should join your union, you should join whatever group is doing something right now, because it's very clear where we're going if we don't all stand up. And I do not want to go there. I don't intend to go there. I won't go there. So I need you to join me in going somewhere else, somewhere much better, somewhere where we actually want to be. A place where federal service is about actually making sure that all people, regardless of who you are, get what they need in this country. And it's going to take a big, big movement, not just one day. Even though you're all beautiful, I love to see you here. It's not going to be just today that does it. It's going to have to be tomorrow, but not just tomorrow, every day after that, actually building institutions that can stand up against fascism, because that's what we're dealing with. And I think we can get there. I think it'll take you, every single one of you, and all of our neighbors, but I believe we can get there. I took an oath, and what it means in this moment, to me right now, is to build the type of society, the type of workplace, the type of co-workers and institutions that can get us there, and I hope to see you there.
And we have yet another speaker who's going to enlighten you on another, I don't know what you call it, but breach of a democracy. That's I'm trying to say it nicely without cussing. But I also want to say, look up there. They came to D.C. They're seeing democracy in action. So clap for them. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Bring it in, y'all. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. Come on, let's show them some unity. We're going to talk about unity, but let's start with everybody coming a little bit closer if you can. Come on, come on. Donald Trump, you such a clown! You're not welcome in this town! You're not welcome in this town! Donald Trump, you're such a clown! Donald Trump, you're such a clown! You're not welcome in this town! 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 No Trump! No KKK, no racist USA! 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 I said no Trump! No KKK, no racist USA! No Trump! No KKK, no racist USA! Give it up for yourselves, y'all. We out here on a Friday. Kicking off No Kings Weekend in Washington, D.C. I got a little pop quiz for y'all. What is the most beautiful thing in the universe?
Unity.
Unity, baby. Unity. And what is the most powerful weapon in the hands of the people?
Unity.
Unity!
Unity. Unity. That's right. Unity. And what is the greatest fear of all of our enemies combined?
Unity!
Unity. Exactly right. Unity. But what kind of unity are we talking about? We're not talking about just being nice to each other, not offending each other, and singing Kumbaya. We're talking about real unity. Real unity which can withstand the pressures of struggle. Ain't that right? Here's an example. Raise your hand if you're a patriot. Raise your hand if you're a patriot. I can't really trust patriots like that. I'm gonna keep it a buck. See my hand and go up. I grew up in Washington, D.C., not too far from here. It's my first time here, y'all. Because this don't mean much to me. And so people who hold up this flag, which is drenched in so much blood, it's hard for me to get with it. I'm gonna keep it real. What more does it represent to me than just another symbol of our oppression? Now, I know I speak for a lot of black and brown people when I say that. And yet here I am. Ain't that right? Because this moment demands more than trust. This moment demands more than ideas. This moment demands action. Ain't that right? And not just any type of action. Unified action.
That's right.
Where all the people come together and resist this vicious, racist, reactionary Trump agenda. Ain't that right?